Welcome to the Texas High School Football Coaches Show on Lone Star Gridiron. I'm Chris Daly, and it's my belief that the men that make up the fraternity of Texas high school football coaches are much more than a bunch of thick-necked guys with whistles. They do so much more than teach technique and the X's and O's of football. They take young boys and change them into young men of character. They get kids to believe in themselves, to trust others, and to put others ahead of themselves. Texas high school football coaches are unique in how they impact the lives of these athletes as well as the generations those kids touch. In this show, I sit down with a different Texas high school football coach each time and learn about them. Not their record, not their on-field accomplishments, but who they are and what they believe and what it means to be part of the greatest sport in the greatest state. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Lone Star Gridiron Texas High School Football Coaches Show, Season 4, Episode 18. Today, I have a coach that anybody who's been around Texas high school football will know the name, but you'll probably know him from great programs like Gilmer. He is no longer with Gilmer. In fact, now he is the associate head coach at the University of Arkansas. Jeff Traylor is my guest, and I'll introduce you to him right after this. Hey, I want to give a big thank you to this season's title sponsor, Mecca Sportswear, where they are all about celebrating achievement. They're honored that so many high schools, colleges, and universities have chosen Mecca's products to represent their institutions. Mecca supplies you with the very best in custom letter jackets, chenille letters, patches, blankets, banners, pins, certificates, and much more to motivate and celebrate achievement in athletics, academics, or the arts. They create high-quality custom awards that will fit your budget. To see why so many great schools around Texas choose Mecca Sportswear, call Sherry Armstrong or Billy Armstrong at 210-651-6592. Mecca Sportswear, the premier suppliers of letter jackets and awards for over 40 years. Hey, I want to introduce you to our newest sponsor. It is 99 Pledges. And if you're looking for a quick and easy way to raise a bunch of money for your sports team, 99 Pledges is the best way for football teams and booster clubs to raise the most money with the least amount of effort. Donors can donate online. Each player gets their own donation page that they can share with their friends and family all over the country, like grandparents in Florida by email, text, Facebook, or any of the social media outlets. By going online with 99 Pledges, it's easy to spread the word about your fundraiser, keep everyone involved and informed. Because of this, 99 Pledges has seen teams raise over $30,000. And teams like the Katy Tigers have exceeded their fundraising goal. That's the best part. Teams keep an average of 95% of what they raise. Players don't have to go door to door or track down donations. They can save all that energy for where it counts, on the gridiron. Check them out at 99pledges.com. They are an excellent organization. You're going to be so glad that your next fundraiser is through these guys. All right, everybody, join me in welcoming Coach Jeff Traylor, the associate head coach from the University of Arkansas Razorbacks, to the show. Coach, how are you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you bet. I am so pleased to, I guess, first congratulate you on your first season there, and best wishes on this upcoming season.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that very much. We got a ways to go, but we're getting better.
Nice. I love it. So what we like to do is kind of jump back in time to your history, and I want to go way back to when you first discovered this game of football and tell that story.
Well, I just was one of those lucky people. I just grew up loving it. There was no particular person or there's no certain reason. My mother and father and my family just always told me from at a very, very young age, they say 2 years old, that I would be in front of the TV, watching Roger Staubach and, Tom Landry and the Dallas Cowboys, basically my entire childhood life. That's all I ever wanted to do. I never wanted to do anything else but coach. So those are my earliest memories of just being a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan and crying every time they lost. And, I guess I was going to grow up and be the next Roger Staubach, and Tom Landry didn't quite make all those goals.
Weren't we all, right? Nice. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Gilmer, a little town in East Texas. My mother was an educator. She taught school for over 40 years, and my father was an administrator, so he was a principal, counselor, and a school teacher. And so I grew up, small East Texas town, and ended up getting coached there later on in my career.
Yeah, no doubt. So in high school, where'd you play football? Was that Gilmer too?
Yeah, I played there. I played at Gilmer, and we were talented, but didn't win a whole lot. Won just enough, but not to the level that we wanted to win. But we won a little bit, just enough to not be losers, but not enough winning to make anybody care about you.
I love it. And I see you also were a fellow lumberjack and went to Stephen F. Austin. And tell about that. Yeah.
Actually went to Stephen F. and had a great 4 years there. Loved it. Met my wife there. And, of course, my mom and dad went there as well. And had a brother that went there. So Stephen F. Austin is very dear to my heart and always will be.
Myself too, yeah. So coming out of college, what was your first job that you got out of college?
I was going to stay in GA, Stephen F. Austin, actually. That was my first plan. My wife was she had another year left. But my one of my high school coaches got the job at Big Sandy and, offered me a offensive coordinator's job. And I was 22 years old, and I was going to set the world on fire, calling plays and, being all that. And I was actually a head basketball coach as well at Big Sandy. And so that's where I started, working for Brad McGinnis in Big Sandy, Texas.
I love it. If you could, stop by now every position you've held up to today.
Sure. I was at Big Sandy, and I was happy as could be. I wasn't even planning on leaving. I didn't apply for any jobs. I just kept coaching. And out of nowhere, Danny Long, who was the head coach at Jacksonville, called me and said he heard I was a really great coach and really good with kids and wanted me to come to Jacksonville. He had 3 quarterbacks named McCowan that were going to really be good, which, Randy McCowan and Josh McCowan and Luke McCowan. And Coach Long threw the ball all over the yard, and that was exciting to me. So I went down there, and he hired me over the telephone, didn't even interview me, which is crazy. And, of course, Coach is one of my biggest influences in my career, for sure. So I went to Jacksonville and worked for him, and we won a bunch of ball games and got to coach Randy and then Josh and then Luke was my last one there. And I got hired back to my hometown at Gilmer in May of 2000. And I spent 15 years there. Just had an incredible run. It was an absolute Cinderella story, to be honest with you. And I wasn't looking to leave there either. So I was going to just retire and live in my hometown the rest of my life. And had a few chances at college jobs through those years, but my children were so young. And Gilmer just took such great care of me. I just didn't want to leave. But then I love Charlie Strong, and he did a great job recruiting me and taught me to come to the University of Texas. And then from there, I went to SMU with Coach Morris for a year, and now we're starting our second year here at Arkansas. So it's been a crazy ride, but a fun ride.
Nice. And Gilmer, I guess how you're known from Texas high school football circles is that incredible run at Gilmer, the fact that, they named the stadium after you. I mean, talk about what a big part that was in your life.
Yeah, I don't know that words will ever be able to describe what that place means to me. It'll always be that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, one, it's my home. And then I've said this to people before. I don't know if the wins will ever feel as good again or the losses will ever hurt as bad, just because there were so many people there that I love so dearly that I know how much pain it caused them when we lost. And we didn't lose many, but the few we lost, they were very painful. So, yeah, it was an incredible ride. And it was just so much bigger than me. I had a superintendent that was just, he just treated me. Words can't describe how good he treated me. I had a school board that just took care of my family, a community that took care of my family. My home, this is a fascinating story. When we built that home, the address there, they made it the score of our very first state championship. We beat Jasper 49-47 in 2004. So my address in Gilmer was 4947 Carly Lane. So there's just a million of those kind of stories of what those people did for me and my family and my coaching staff. I basically had the same coaching staff my entire 15 years there.
Wow. And
that's unheard of, but that's just how good those people at Gilmer were and how well they treated me.
Love it. The theme I hear in the years of doing this show is that you really can't get anywhere by yourself. And if you could, you mentioned some key coaches in your life. Talk about some of those and what you picked up from each of them.
I'd probably start with Coach Long. Just him hiring me. He was just so different. He's from California. He laughed, he smiled, he cried. He just was a player's coach beyond belief. And it was the first time in my career that I realized it's okay to smile and laugh and have fun at work. He loved the Lord tremendously, and he's a great influence for me there. I also worked for Matt Turner and Wayne Coleman there. They were the coordinators, and I wasn't a coordinator when I first started there. And Matt was just such a great coach as far as his fundamentals of teaching the ball game and his passion for kids and the Lord. And Wayne was just so wise. He was just so calm all the time and so smart. And he was really good at X's and O's. So those three guys were huge influences. But there's an older gentleman that lived in Jacksonville named Dick Sheffield that was retired. That for some reason he just took me under his wing and he just made sure that he gave me that old wisdom. And even when I went to Gilmer and I was the head coach, he only called me after I lost a game. He never would call me after I won a game. And he always told me that when you win, everybody's going to be pumping your head full of stuff anyway. So the only time people don't really want to talk to you is when you lose. So whenever I lost the ball game, Dick would always call. And he would be fantastic. And when he passed away, it was a tremendous loss for me. I still miss his voice.
Mm-hmm.
And so high school, those guys are probably the biggest ones. And then obviously at the University of Texas, I worked with some amazing men. Obviously Charlie, just what he stood for, and his core values and what he was about and how he treated kids. And now getting to work for Chad Morris, he's and obviously a Texas high school legend in himself and an offensive innovator. And he's just been great for me. And he's always had a lot of belief in me, and he's always taken care of me as well. So in college, I'd say Chad and Charlie and some great assistants along the way. I don't want to start mentioning all those because we'd be here forever. But in high school, obviously those guys I mentioned. And I have some great assistants now. Yeah. I have some guys that, obviously Wayne and Matt ended up working for me, Gilmer, believe it or not. And we had a great run there together. And I had some other great assistants, Todd Barr, Alan Metzel, Tommy Edwards. I could go on and on about those guys. So bunch of great guys along the way.
Love it. You mentioned when you got to Big Sandy as the OC, you were ready to set the world on fire. And it seems like a lot of coaches, that's the way they hit the ground running. It's all about X's and O's. But somewhere along the line it changes to being about the kids. What was that transition like for you? I think it just comes with maturity. Just being around older coaches. The Texas High School Coaches Association is just so fantastic. Mm-hmm. And when you're young like I was resentful for having to cover all those meetings and all those workshops. But as you do it, you kind of get brainwashed through the years, and you just keep going so much.
what D.W. Rutledge and those guys have done for us through the years at that THFCA, I mean, it's just incredible. And it's just a maturing process, and then you have your own children, and you start coaching your own kids, and just, life just like it is in Ecclesiastes. I mean, it's just different parts of your life where you just mature and grow. And I kind of miss those days a little, being that young and dumb and naive, but I don't think I'd want to go back to them.
Nice. So if you could, talk a little bit about the difference between the college players and the high school players. What have you seen?
Honestly, they don't need me as much at the college level. When they get to this level, they pretty much want to get a degree and they want to go play in pros. When you're in high school and junior high, you're just trying to figure out life. Yeah. And so I felt more needed as a high school coach than I do as a college coach. I still love my guys and I love taking care of them at the college level, no doubt. I just don't feel there's the transition, obviously from high school to college, is still a tough transition, and they need us for that. But they're obviously pretty successful kids, or they wouldn't have got to that point. They're pretty good students and really good athletes, or they wouldn't be at our level. Where in high school, you're dealing with all different aspects of children. You got guys that are on the ninth grade team, B team, JV, backups, varsity. You got every realm of student at the high school level, which helps prepare you for college as well, because you get to deal with so many different kinds of kids. But that'd be the biggest difference, is just how much they really need me as far as their social development, academic development, off-the-field development. So that'd be the biggest difference.
Got it. As you know, this game recently has come under attack from a lot of sources. If you could, if somebody was listening to this, hey, we should do away with football, how would you explain what's so important about this game?
Well, it's kids right now, but we have a whole generation. There's just not very many fatherly influences in their lives. There's not many males in their lives. And I believe that's why the game does go on. You talk to so many men, and they'll tell you a high school football coach was the biggest role model in their life. And I don't know how many times I run into former players that will tell me that it was the greatest thing that happened to them. And here's how I describe it. I was a basketball coach. I never had a bad day coaching basketball. The gym was always 72 degrees. Basketball practice was always fun. I love to go to basketball practice. I love to coach basketball every day. I love to play the game. That's really not how life is. Football is a lot like life. Right. Football's tough. I mean, and payday's fun in life, but we don't get paid about once a week, and that's kind of how football is. You get paid on Friday nights, and there's no more fun than Friday night football in Texas. But that's not life. Life's hard. Life's tough, and when you want to quit, you just can't quit. And there's just so many life skills that are taught in the game of football. Grit, toughness, honesty, integrity, trusting each other, having a cause bigger than just yourself, playing for something bigger than you, playing for your community, playing for your state. It's just such a unbelievable. There's nothing that pulls your community together like Friday night football. I mean, the band's there, the drill team's there, the cheerleaders are there, the alumni are there, the administration's there, the choir's there. Everybody's there, and I know football's the reason, but it pulls everyone together for one common goal. And you take that away, there'll just be a huge void in community involvement and raising our young men. How many boys can you make into men? That's what football really is. And it was a point Dick Sheffield gave to me years ago. I had this coaching 25 to 30 seniors a year for 15 years. So, I'm responsible for about 400 young men. And how many of those boys are going to be men? How many of those boys are going to grow up, take care of their families, and get a job and help their country, help their community they're living in, help their church, help their civic organization? That's what football is. That's the fabric of football. And that's why it never will go away.
Amen. Now, I know, at the University of Arkansas, you recruit more than just Texas. And to my way of thinking, you take too many Texas years away from us. But talk about what's different when it comes to Texas high school football players than maybe some of the other states.
Well, it's the Texas High School Coaches Association. I mean, it's so organized. And, our weight rooms are so developed. The development of our coaches are so much. It's an unbelievable organization. And it probably took me leaving the state and traveling as much as I have in the last few years to really have an appreciation for how great the THSCA was. That really is the difference. If I could just tell you, I travel to different states, and there's a lot of great coaches in this country. I'm not putting down the quality of coaches. I just don't think there's an association as strong and as well organized and put together as the Texas High School Coaches Association.
Definitely. So, looking forward, you've accomplished a lot of really cool things. You've impacted a lot of lives. What's on your bucket list? What do you have left? I've never worked a day in my life. I mean that. I still love to go to work. I still love being around my players. I've got a ton of energy. I'm as healthy as I've ever been. I'm as in love with football as I've ever been in my life. And I don't know what God has in store for me. I want to be a head coach again. I love being an assistant. I love serving Chad. But I want to be a head coach again. And some schools are going to give me an opportunity. And when that time comes, I'll know it's when God's time is ready for me to do that. And until then, I'm going to work for Coach Morris and help him win as many ball games as we possibly can. When you win, there's enough for everybody. When you lose, there's not enough for anyone. So we've got to get to winning. And then some school will luckily hire me, and we'll go set the world on fire again, see if we can have another great 15-year run. I love it. So finally, Coach, anything we can look for from Arkansas this year?
We're going to be better. I mean, our culture is just a little bit more established. We've been here a year now, and nothing against Coach Gilmer at all. It's just different. When you take over a program, it's just different. Mm-hmm. Coach Morris has his way of doing it. Coach Gilmer had his way of doing it. So we'll be one more year ingrained into what Coach Morris wants. So you never know about wins and losses. It's crazy how all that stuff works. But I know we'll be a better football team. And we recruited very well. We had a great signing class, and we think we're on pace for another one. And when you stack a couple of great classes together, I know that when my players were better than the other guys' players, I was a much smarter coach. And that always seems to help.
I love it. Coach Jeff Traylor, I want to thank you so much for spending a little bit of your time and sharing some of your story.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for taking the time to call me, and anything I can do to help, feel free to call.
All right, I appreciate it, Coach.
This show is brought to you by the book, All I Need to Know I Learned from My Texas High School Football Coach, a handbook of wisdom for parents, young people, and yes, even coaches. Head over to www.learnedfromcoach.com and order your copy to support sharing the stories of these great coaches and leaders. That's learnedfromcoach.com.
Hey, once again, I want to thank Coach Jeff Traylor for sitting down and sharing a little bit of his time with me. And I want to ask you guys to please go out and support these sponsors. They are the reason, they are why I am able to bring this show to you each and every week. Until next time, I'm Chris Daly, and we'll see you at the game.